Hello, and welcome back to another pen talk. Thank you very much to a few of you that are still tuning in and following me in my exploration of the wide world of pens. And yes, I have two new ones rotating in front of you. They are certainly much worthy of the attention of the crabs who are enjoying holding them up. Crabs love to work, and they were designed to hold up pens, so we're putting them to work. You may look at this pen and say, yeah, it looks kind of familiar. You may recognize certain bits and pieces, but pens are limited to what they can look like and still function, so I'm happy to say these look good and function well. So Britain reached out to me and said, do you want to review a new pen that we're coming out with? And I said, absolutely. He offered me a couple pens, and they come in different colors, and obviously I wanted a clear one because I enjoy seeing the inside bits of the pen. And the green one looks nice. I don't really have a recent green one. I didn't really realize that this was the gold trimmed one and this is the silver trimmed one. As of my filming, I can't find it on Amazon. Britain said it would be available today or tomorrow. We'll keep looking, and before the video is finished, I'm certain I'll be able to pop up those listings for you. So we're going to explore these pens visually and see if it's something you might like. Stay tuned. Those of you that may not be familiar with Asvine packaging, the pens come in this very nice, sturdy plastic box. They come with a nice set of instructions. The pen is in a protective silicone sleeve, or whatever. But what's nice, and much to my surprise and delight, the pen comes with an Asvine wrench, so you get a lot of different ways of opening up various pens, and it comes with some extra O-rings. This is for the piston, and that's for that shutoff valve. So I'm very impressed, and I verified with Britain that all the pens will come with this. An excellent accessory. And for those that want to do their own maintenance and are concerned about maintenance, then you got a lifetime supply of parts here to keep your pen in perfect working order. Enjoy. So when you first pick up the pen, the first thing I noticed was it's substantial. Decent weight, good size, almost approaching oversize. And we see a beautiful number 8 Asvine nib in there. And if we look at the cap band, we'll see it's identified with the maker. And if we flip it over, we'll see the model, a V800. Like I said, they should be available on Amazon. As soon as they are, I'll put a link in the video for you so you can find it. And I just wanted a green one. This is like your classic swirly acrylic where you have that pearlescence on one side. You go 90 degrees, it disappears. You go another 90 degrees and it shows up again. Yeah, you have the end cap here that's used to activate the vacuum filler. Yes, that V800 should have given it away, as well as what you saw inside of the clear pen. Very functional, springy clip. Let's just compare the two different finishes, silvery and goldy. Yeah, I'm glad to have these two pens, and I'm glad I can show them to you. If we look at the clear one, taking off the cap is a little over 1.5 turns, and we mentioned before that great number 8 nib from Asvine. Really nice feed. No writing in this video, but I'll give you a link to my C80 video where I write with all 3 thicknesses of these nibs, and they are all great, all sizes. This pen feels great in my hand, unposted. The weight is nice. It's a little bit front weighted, which is what I enjoy when I write. And if you look at the design, you may say it should post, and yes, it does post. Makes for a longer pen. The cap is not that heavy, so the balance becomes a little bit further up the hand. A little bit above the crook of the hand in my hand. And the cap is fairly secure. So that's the clear one. For those of you that may not be familiar with a vac filler, if you see inside the pen, you'll see there's this rod which connects to a piston here. When this end cap is turned clockwise all the way down, there's a little stopper at the end of that piston that seals off ink flow going into the feed. So this is a design that's great for going on airplanes with, or traveling with, or, if you're concerned about burping. That shutoff valve definitely addresses that. This cap just unscrews, and unlike a piston, when you unscrew it, nothing happens inside. It does release that shutoff valve, so ink will flow. So when you write with this pen, you need to unscrew this cap to have a good ink flow. If you don't unscrew it, maybe you'll write a page or so, and it'll stop writing, and you go, what? Look, there's tons of ink in there, but I didn't open up the check valve. Once this is all the way totally unscrewed, then you can pull that piston up, and now it's ready to be filled. You put this into the ink bottle, and it's good to have the ink about a little bit halfway up the section, because you want to draw ink through down here. So what you do is you, in one movement, fairly quick movement, you go all the way down. When it gets to the bottom, that valve had produced a vacuum behind it, so when it gets down here and opens up, that vacuum pulls up ink. So I generally get about a half fill with my vac fillers. I know there's techniques that some people have. They get a more fuller fill, but if that's what I want, I would unscrew the nib assembly, which these all do. Asvine is very consistent in that, and you'll see some nice O-rings. I'll use a syringe to fill it up all the way. It's not easy with a vac filler to do that, because you don't want to fill it with the piston all the way up, because then when you push it down, you're going to push ink out. So you need to fill it with that vacuum, nice pop, so it flows around that vacuum piston and fills up the barrel. Takes a little bit of time and patience to do, but if you want 100% fill, that to me is the best way to do it. We have to hear that pop again. Sounds excellent. And to me, the louder that sound, the more that vacuum is going to be there to draw up ink. So, as usual, a well-made pen, good design, very functional. Asvine has done it again. And this is your classic bullet nose design. Bullet nose, torpedo, cigar shape, lots of different phrases to describe that shape, which has been around for much over a decade and used by many popular pen makers. So I've darkened the room a little bit so I can bring in the LED, because I found some interesting aspects to this green resin pen. It's translucent to a pretty good degree, and you can probably see the ink level with a light. Obviously the pen is empty now, but I didn't expect that when I first looked at the pen. As you can see, as you turn it, that area that's pearlescence does not transmit the light as much, but the cap is also very good to kind of look at how that color and pearlescence are distributed through the resin. It's a pretty green, I have to admit that. I'll give you my measurements on the V800, but I just wanted to compare it to the C80. It's a similar length, that same number 8 nib as I mentioned. The girth is a little bit bigger in girth than the C80. Here's your C2000, that great stabilized wood. This is the green one. I also have a rainbow one that I'm waiting on a review. And just to put things in perspective, here's that Wing Sung or Junlai 930, which is the biggest pen I have, number 9 nib. And as you can see, it is longer by a bit. Certainly the girthiest pen of this group, but that would be expected with that large nib. So let's take a look at the business ends. Uncapped as expected, the 930 is definitely the longest pen of this group. And that number 9 nib certainly dominates these number 8 size nibs. You know, I enjoy this nib more than I expected to. This one obviously has been inked up. So here is a gold tone one, silver tone one, gold tone one. Like I say, they come in a fine, medium, and 1.1 stub. And when I reviewed my C80, I did all 3 nibs. So if you're interested in writing with the Asvine number 8 nib, check out that video. As you can see, these are all rounded here. The 2000 has a flat end to the cap, so it's kind of a mixture of styles, whereas the other 3 have the same size shape at the end of the cap as they have at the end of the barrel. Again, these are just design elements that pen makers use when they create their pens. Another pen which one might compare to the V800 is the Majohn P140. Yes, it's pending my review. I have this in the 141, which I wanted to compare and show to you, but that's being delayed. Both of these feel great in a hand, have nice substantial weight. You have that kind of like optical grade turned acrylic that they're made from. Here we can see the nibs. You can appreciate the nibs with a slight turn of the cap. So sometimes people want nibs underneath of the clip. Some people want them on the opposite side. So these give you that option on either side. Nice cap bands for both of these. I have to admit that the Majohn one I like a little better. The 140 is a piston filler, all brass componentry. And again, the clear version lets you see everything. And yes, it is full of ink. But these pens share only their shape. And as I mentioned before, a shape that's been around for centuries, not decades, as I said. That's just stupid. But, you know, the brain sometimes just gets short-circuited. But, you know, so far I've been enjoying very much the 140. And I expect I'll enjoy the V800 equally well. But that's another comparison for those that are interested in like that type of thing. Well, I had a number of challenges with this video. Number one, I started filming before the pen was available, so I didn't have that reference. And number two, Britam was, you know, going to emphasize how much ink the pen can hold, so then I had to ink it. So that changed what I was doing, which I did in different time frames, so that's why we're here. But what I'd like to do is show you that listing on Amazon now, and there's a link in the video description. And the pen comes in a lot of amazing, incredible colors. I mean, oof, amazing. Asvine has used a lot of the resins that they've used in other pens and have brought them over to the V800 model. And I think that's phenomenal. That's great. I really like seeing how they've taken some existing bits and pieces and turned them into a nice, interesting new style pen, new model. Hopefully you're enjoying that too. But we must continue on, and we'll go to the conclusion that I did before the pen was available and before I inked it up. I determine ink capacity by measuring the weight of the barrel with no ink, and then we'll measure it after I've done my fill. This is the ink I chose, Diamine Ethereal Violet. It's a big bottle, big opening, so it should work well with the V800 vac filler. Let's take a look. So here's the diamine ink on a paper towel. Yes, it's a very saturated purple violet-y ink. Cool color. So we're going to go through the motions. We unscrew the cap, pull that vac piston all the way up, insert it into the ink so it's just above the section, and hopefully I can hold it in a way that you can watch the ink come up as we do it in one motion, and that's pretty bad. As you can see, it's not the easiest thing to try to do over the camera, but we shall try. There we go. Hopefully you got to see it, and it's about that half fill like I've mentioned before that I usually get with vac fillers. And yeah, my technique may not be the best, but I tried to show it to you. Now the weight after the first fill is 24.6 grams. Let's try it one more time and see if we get any more ink. So one of the supposedly tricks to getting more fill is pulling the piston down. And I just pull it down to where there's air above, and the theory is that when you push the piston down, it's going to create a vacuum and a little bit of space. Again, I've tried this many times before, and let's see what it does. And we didn't get any more. We got a tenth less, which just could be within the error range of this scale. So one of the interesting things about ink in this pen is when you turn the barrel, you can see how quickly the ink rolls off the barrel. I'm impressed. I think a lot of that has to do with how well the inside of the barrel is polished, but it's just a cool look. One of those interesting visual things that you can do with a vac filler like this. A demonstrator vac filler like this. As I've said many times before, Asvine makes consistently good nibs. All of the nibs, I think, from the major Chinese pen makers have gotten consistently better, and we all benefit from that. I certainly do enjoy it. It's a fine nib. It's in the little bit generous side of fine. It's a great number 8. It's very smooth. And as you can see, it puts down a wonderful amount of ink, a wonderful amount of this diamine ink. So we've reached the conclusion of this video. So what do I think about these two pens? Well, I'm impressed. The Chinese pen makers, and Asvine has been in that group, have been giving us bigger and bigger pens, well-made pens, turned acrylic pens, maybe some injection molded precious resins, but for the most part, they're turned acrylics. And they use great resins. I mean, the resins are excellent. You got like optical transparency here. You got that nice shimmer effect in the green one, which is, I think, evident in the other colors in the series. But this pen feels good in your hand. I'm expecting them to be excellent writers. I think if you watch a lot of reviews on YouTube and follow some of the pundits or influencers, whatever you want to call us, you'll find that most people really enjoy the Asvine nibs, and I'm one of them. So I concur with that. I've never had anything that required any real substantial tuning, and I just enjoy the way they feel on paper and the way they lay down ink, which is the two most important things when you're writing with your fountain pens. So I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, your papers, your inks, doing something with your pens, writing a letter, drawing, sketching, maybe writing down music with a music nib if you happen to have one, or if not, just a stub nib will work almost as well. So then, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for watching, and we will say bye-bye. I have pens coming, more reviews of new pens. Stay tuned.